Great, so we've just finalized our character's animation, but we have an issue. When the character's jumping on our diving board, the diving board is just staying still, and that doesn't really make sense. So let's go into our ladder asset, and if you recall, we created a bend parameter for our ladder. I do need to show all objects so we can see our character. We have the board bend strength parameter that's going to allow us to bend our board. And so what we can do, as the character jumps onto the board after this initial jump, we can bend the board down to the minimum of the character's jump, and then as the character leaves, we can bend the board back up and down and basically give a very subtle reverberation and have that die out so that it's zeroed back out, ready for the next impact. So let's find our first impact that goes below the board. There we go. So on this frame, I'm going to key the board strength at 0 because the board is just about to be impacted by the character, and I did that by alt-left clicking on the board bend strength parameter. On the next frame, I'm going to bend the board down slightly so that it's sitting underneath our character, and that will automatically key. Then we're going to leave with the character, so a few frames later, so let's say 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 frames later, I'm going to bend up, just going slightly above the 0 mark, and 3 or 4 frames after that, I'm going to zero back out. So if we were to watch that play back, we just get a very subtle bend. Oh, not far enough. So we bend down, and then we come back slightly further and then settle. And we're going to take that approach with the rest of the jumps, but obviously as these become greater and greater in terms of how far down the character moves, we're going to have more and more reverberations before we settle out. I'm also going to right click on each of these character sliders. If I can, I do need to jump up to object level. Come on, give me the slider. There we go. With the slider selected, I'm going to uncheck persistence so that I can turn these guys off because we don't need to worry about our character anymore. Fantastic. So there's our first one. Let's jump inside our ladder. And as our ball comes down, this frame will be zeroed out, so alt-left click to set a key at 0. The next frame, we're going to bend down very slightly. On the next frame, we're going to bend down slightly further. Then we're going to leave, so 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 frames. We're traveling further this time. We're going to bend back up further than before. Then around 5 frames again, I'm going to travel down, going back into being bent slightly. Then I'm going to come back again slightly above, just very slightly. And then a few frames after that, zero back out. And that will hold until our character comes back down and will impact with the board again. So there we're at 0, so alt-left click to key at 0. The next frame we're going to bend down slightly. The next frame we're going to bend down slightly further. And then let's give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's move back down slightly. Maybe 4 frames after that we'll come back up slightly further. 3 frames after that, down very slightly. And then 3 frames after that we can zero out. And then I'm not sure if there's another jump or if that's the final one. Fantastic. So now, if we watch this play back, after that initial jump, nice, and then he's going to dive into the pool.
Excellent.
So with that, that's the board's animation wrapped up. Thanks a lot.